What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 3 of the Not a Sheep podcast. My name's Matt, and I'm here with my buddy John.
What's up, guys? I'm John or Narwhal. I'm super excited this week. There's a bunch of stuff we want to hop into. A lot of just news and like big things have happened in the music scene in the last week or so, and we didn't really talk about anything last week because we did an episode with Casman, which, by the way, if you guys haven't seen it yet, definitely go check out episode 2. We had Casman on, and she talked about being on American Idol, and it was a super cool episode.
Yeah.
And Matt freestyled in it.
I did.
So he proved that he can rap as well. But yeah, Matt, what have you been listening to the last week or so?
Lately? Okay, so there's a lot of new music that came out last night. It's currently Friday, but you guys are listening to this on like a Monday. But besides all the new music, I've been listening to a lot of Tory Lanez. There's this random song that's on the SpongeBob soundtrack. Apparently there's a new SpongeBob movie. I thought it was like a meme.
There's a new SpongeBob game.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
They
I'm not
remastered
sure.
an old game a couple weeks ago.
Oh, is it the Hunt for Bikini Bottom or something like that?
Yeah,
That's a good game.
They remastered it.
But anyways, it's just it's by Taney, I think is his name. He's like a Latin artist.
Okay.
But it's just like this random super dope song I found. But
okay.
And besides
will
that,
you go out of your way to listen to soundtracks of new like movies or
not
things?
normally, but recently because of the Scoob soundtrack, I was like, maybe there's some better soundtracks I just haven't listened to because I never really considered checking them out.
Yeah, for sure.
But and then besides that, just like I've been going back in like old Lil Wayne for some reason.
Okay, like what?
Well, not old, but like I was rechecking out his last album, and then that kind of made me go back into some of his like 2000s hit songs, because that's like some of the first rap music I grew up listening to. Was like, I guess like 6 Foot, 7 Foot, and like those are like his biggest songs. But those were just the ones that I remember having on like my iPod and stuff.
Yeah. What did you think of the Carter 4?
The 4 or 5.
Or
like
the one from a couple years
like,
ago.
Like last year.
That was 5, right?
Yeah, that was 5. I liked it.
One?
I mean, it's kind of funny because you can like tell that he was working on it for so long because of like Kendrick is on it, but it sounds like Kendrick from like 2013 because you can kind of tell in his voice.
That's crazy. You can notice that. See, I guess I don't listen to enough Kendrick to know.
Yeah, he kind of has like a certain tone of voice. If you listen to like Good Kid, Mad City, or like Section 80 especially, which is like from 2011, he just sounds completely different than he does now. But
wow. Just like in a good or bad way, or just in a sense
different.
that he's just like different?
It's like his tone of voice, because he does so many like different like vocal inflections or whatever the word is. But it's just like one of the voices he used to do like back then a lot more.
Yeah. Okay.
So what have you been listening to?
I have been listening to, so last episode, I mentioned a guy named Mike Posner to you, and I listened to him a lot like a year ago. I got into like all his, I had just found him, and so I went back and listened to all his old albums, but then I kind of stopped for a while. But the other day I got a message from one of my buddies, Turner, who was listening to the show, and he's like, "Hey, I heard you talking about Mike Posner. Like, what did you think of his most recent album from 2019? And I was like, honestly, like I really liked it, but it made me realize like I need to go dive back in and kind of really listen to it.
Yeah.
And I think it is actually, it's called Keep Going, and I think it's like top 5 favorite albums of all time now.
Really? Wow.
Like I knew I loved it, but then, like I said, I stopped listening to him for a while, was more into like hip hop, because he's not hip hop, he's just like a singer. But dude, it is so incredibly powerful. And a fun little fact is the first song that I ever cried from is on that album, and it's called Amen, and it's so good. So this is a good little segue, I guess. I wanted to bring up, I think, so Matt and I had this idea of doing like older album reviews, where we'll just pick one, and then next week we'll kind of give our thoughts on it. We'll listen to it start to finish. And I would like the first one to be that one called Keep Going by Mike Posner. So sometime in the next week, I'll listen to it all again. Matt, you've never really listened to him,
I
right?
haven't heard it, so like that'll be interesting to hear for the first time.
Yeah, and it's literally one of those songs or one of those albums where there's not a single skip for me. Okay. Like I absolutely love every song. There's a Logic feature on it. Oh, there's a Wiz Khalifa feature. There's a couple cool little intermissions and stuff.
What like genre is it? Is it like pop?
I mean, that's the whole album is about how he's kind of refound who he is as an artist.
Okay.
And it was all about, a lot of the songs he has lines about how like, I was trying to get more known, and as soon as I stopped caring about that is when I became more known.
Yeah.
And like, he also was saying, there's a line, he said, I used to be a pop singer and now I'm myself.
Ooh.
Meaning like, he used to make songs to go get big and go viral, and now he just has kind of stripped away from all that. And just,
that's dope. Yeah.
So I highly, highly recommend it. Just picture me laying in bed, listening to one of his songs, and just a tear shed. And I was like, oh my God.
This is kind of random, but do you have any artists that like you like had one impression of and kind of wrote off, and then for like, I don't know, months or years, you were like, no, I don't like them. And then you like finally gave them a chance like down the road, and you're like, wait, they're actually kind of dope.
Honestly, Drake.
Really?
Drake's
Yeah.
huge, but I've literally up until this year, like all my friends know I never have listened to him. I mean, I've heard songs, like I'll be with friends, they'll play his stuff, and I'm like, I know his voice, but nothing ever stood out to me.
Yeah.
Not that he was bad. Like, I think there's a difference between thinking an artist is actually not good or just like realizing that they're good, but they just don't connect with you.
That makes sense. Yeah. There's a bunch of big rappers that I respect and think are good, but like I don't listen to, and they're not my favorite.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So sorry, I was just going to say, so that was Drake, but now that I've actually, what happens with me is if I have a situation like that, if they finally release a song that I do like a lot,
Okay.
I'll listen to that, and then I'll go back and listen to all the stuff that I've missed.
Yeah, that usually happens for me. Not that I like ever didn't like him, but that's kind of how I like get into artists. Is like, I remember you were talking about Jack Harlow for a while when he was like coming up, and I'd always see videos of him whenever he would drop music, but I didn't know much about him. And like, sad to say, but like it wasn't until like What's Poppin', and like then he dropped the like 7-song album with that, and then I started to go back through his like old music, and I'm like hearing more than just like 1 or 2 songs per album.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, the reason I asked is because, do you know who Blackberry is, the singer? Yeah. Like I didn't.
That's that's the guy who's the duo with Mike Posner in Mansions.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Mansions is is a duo, and it's Black Bear and Mike Posner.
I think you said that last week.
Yeah, but I don't think it registered.
Oh my gosh, because that's funny. Because like I like thought Blackberry was really weird, and I only heard like Do Re Mi, and I didn't know much about him, and I was just kind of like, okay, it's not really for me. But then like over the last like month or so, I found one of his older songs he was on called Champagne and Pools, and that kind of made me go back through his music, and now I'm like low-key starting to become like a fan. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of weird how it works.
Yeah, I like Black Bear, and he actually has an album coming out next week, I believe. So that's kind of exciting, something to look forward to. One thing that I wanted to actually ask you about is, so this Mike Posner album that we're going to talk about next week, but for me, it's actually in my head like the most powerful album I've probably ever listened to, just as a complete thing. Like it's made me think the most deeply about like life and like my purpose and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
What stands out to you, not as your favorite album, but as like the most profound
powerful.
or powerful album you've
I need to look around for a second. These are my CDs, or most of them are my CDs.
Yeah.
Honestly? Well, so for most powerful, because a lot of that for me comes from like relating to like what the songs are about.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm honestly, the first thing that came to mind was Adrian Stresso's album from 2019, Be Safe Out There. Just because like I feel like when I found his music, I was like starting in music, and I've kind of like grown up as like a artist listening to him. And so it's just been really interesting to see like when he grows, like my life is sort of changing with it.
Yeah.
And so like that was, I don't know, it felt pretty like relatable for me. But I don't know, because like most powerful stuff that comes to mind is just like Kendrick Lamar, like Damn, I don't know, just like stuff like that is just like makes you think about life in a whole different way.
Yeah. Have you ever had a song where it like have you ever cried from a song?
Definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember the first one?
I don't remember the first one, but one song that's like a really random one that I like always go back to is, it's a song by Lecrae from 2014 called Timepiece. It's just like a song about like time and like your life and like wasting, if you feel like you're wasting your life, if you feel like you're not using your time right. And it's just, I don't know. You have to kind of check it out because it has this really weird vibe that like late at night, it just puts you in like a weird like trance like place. I don't know how to describe it.
That sounds right up my alley.
No, but yeah, it's like super vibey and it's like totally not like what you'd expect from a Lecrae song.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Cool. Well, should we hop into some of the things that have been going on?
Yeah. So this week, or I guess like the last month or so, it's been pretty crazy about Kanye.
Yeah, dude. It's been all Kanye.
It's been all Kanye. And so I'm just going to recap some of the stuff. So basically like a month ago, he announced that he's going to be moving like Yeezy, his brand, like they're going to start selling cheaper products in Gap stores, which is, we talked about on NAS, or not on NAS, on
Pims.
On Pims that he used to work at Gap when he was like, before he was famous. What else did he do? He dropped a couple songs and announced that he has a new album coming out. He's got the cartoon show with...
Yeah, he also announced his TV show with Kid Cudi. And they're both going to be like the voice actors of the main characters.
Yeah, and he announced that he has a new album coming out too. And then on top of that, decides to officially announce that he is running for president this election, not next election.
Which, dude, like, I know that he's just a strange guy. Like, that's been established.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, is he good? Like, is he...
They were saying that his family thinks he's having another, like, bipolar, like, episode.
Okay.
But they also kind of say that whenever he does any sort of big stunt in the media to kind of, like, just, I don't know, like, what the right word is, but, like, cover it up, sort of. But, well, I don't know. It's because I feel like if he was, he would have, like, backed down by now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. Like, you'd think if he was actually serious about running for president, I mean, you wouldn't do it, like, a couple months before the election.
Yeah, so first off, he's already ineligible to, like, be on the ballot in, like, Texas and some pretty, like, important states you have to win over if you're trying to win an election.
Yeah, so...
But, I don't know. He seems pretty serious about it, but he's Kanye.
Yeah.
Like, he seems to believe in himself.
I know, but... Dude, I've seen tweets and it was like voting for Kanye is like voting for Harambe. Like,
well,
like he's not gonna win.
Harambe got more votes in like a couple counties than Jill Stein, who was like the fourth in the election last time. But
bro, Harambe got more votes. Oh my god.
But yeah, so I don't know what to expect. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, man. Listen, Kanye's always going to do a bunch of crazy stuff, but so I don't know if did you listen to our episode of Peak to Middle School when we talked about how this was a couple weeks ago, but there was all these articles that came out about how Kanye, remember when he was like boys with Trump?
Mm-hmm.
That was all like, there's theories that was all just a big stunt.
I did hear this episode.
And so for those of you who don't know, basically when he was boys with Trump and he was like on TV repping like the Make America Great Again, all that stuff, everyone was giving Kanye a bunch of shit and was like tearing him apart basically.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that like people are now at like connecting all the dots and they think that Kanye was doing that to get close with powerful people who could help him get innocent black people out of jail.
Yeah,
which he did. He helped get innocent people out of jail.
Yeah, and I think like Kim Kardashian also played a big part in that too. But I think that's really interesting. But to like counterpoint that, the sad thing is him running for president is like speculated to obviously take votes away from both sides, but would probably benefit Trump more than it would benefit Biden. So if he is running to stop Trump, it then doesn't seem super effective.
Yeah.
But he did denounce that he's like no longer a Trump supporter. He said that doesn't support Trump.
But you're right. If he runs, it's going to just help Trump.
Yeah, but it'll probably hurt both sides. We'll see. Who knows? I don't know politics.
Yeah, we're not
a
political show.
This is a music show.
Yeah. He had two songs. One was his song.
Well, yeah,
one
was his song with Travis Scott, and then he featured on a song with Ty Dolla $ign and like Skrillex or something random.
I listened to it. It was a super cool mix.
I liked it. Yeah, I like that. Like, I don't know if like EDM is the right word or like dubstep because it's Skrillex, but like I don't know. I just like how the mixes always sound. Like they sound super clean.
Yeah, I also like. I just like when any genres collide to make something unique.
Skrillex and Ty Dolla $ign have a different song that's like, it's, I don't even know what genre it is, but it's like super dope. But
yeah. I mean, speaking of that, this might be a good little segue. I mean, is there more Kanye stuff?
I was just going to ask, if he became our president, would he still drop albums?
Oh, God,
From The Office.
Yo, he would.
Would there be a studio in the Oval Office?
Yes, 100%. If Kanye was president, he would still make music. So what I was saying is I really like when artists of different genres come together. And speaking of that, so Juice WRLD's new album came out.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a song with Halsey. That's how you say her name, right?
Yeah,
Halsey.
Yeah. Halsey.
And I don't know. I just love those vibes when it's like a hip hop artist, and normally they feature a bunch of other hip hop artists, and you know what to expect going in.
Yeah.
But if you get like a pop singer, like if there was a J. Cole song featuring Taylor Swift, I would be so hyped.
There's a Kendrick song or a Taylor Swift song featuring Kendrick.
Whoa,
from like back in the day. It was like the Bad Blood remix.
Oh,
it's low key fire.
Yeah, so stuff like that is super cool.
Yeah,
like what would be the most unexpected but cool collab you would want to see in
unexpected
music?
But cool. It's got to be some like hardcore rapper. But everybody I keep mentioning, I realize they've done stuff like that.
Really?
Like I was gonna say like a YG, but I'm pretty sure he's collabed with some like pop artists.
Okay, like YG and like Carly Rae Jepsen, or
I don't know about like that poppy, but I mean I don't know. I'm pretty sure because I know Kendrick's done quite a few like outside of his genre, like Imagine Dragons, like they did a remix.
All right, what about Royce da 5'9"?
Okay, yeah, that's
featuring Adele.
I could see
that could be really cool.
That could be cool. What do you think of like, cause like Eminem's new music, he's got a couple songs with Ed Sheeran. I don't know if you like Ed Sheeran. I think I respect him. I don't listen to his music, but I think he's dope. But I'm not a fan of Eminem and Ed Sheeran collabing.
Yeah, I liked that song in particular. Okay. I liked Ed Sheeran's whole album, his most recent album. I also have never really listened to him a lot, but when I saw that on his most recent album, he had a song with 50 Cent.
Yeah, he had a bunch of features. He had like a Chance feature.
Yeah, and honestly, I liked the whole thing. I thought it was great. I don't know. I think there are artists like Eminem. It's going to be a lot harder to make a Ed Sheeran song with Eminem than it would be with literally anyone else.
Yeah,
because Eminem is so like angry and just has his certain style.
Yeah, I don't know. But there's certain times when like the styles don't match up at all, but it like works. Like, have you heard the Justin Bieber and Lil Dicky song?
Yeah. All right,
weird thing to think about.
So I want to talk about it. Juice WRLD's album came out.
Yeah.
We both have listened to it one time through. What are your initial thoughts?
Yeah. So like you said, it's been out for not even 24 hours. I thought it was the first thing I was listening for when any like artist drops an album after they die. It's like a lot of people are like, okay, well, did the studio like put it together? Are the songs all incomplete? Is this going to be disrespectful? Are they trying to just make money off of his legacy?
Yeah.
But the thing with Juice WRLD is he freestyles in the studio, and not just like some artists kind of like go line for line. Some of his producers have said he'll freestyle the whole song in like one take. Yeah. I'm not sure if that's 100% true, but still, when he died, they said they had like 1,000 finished songs.
That is insane.
Yeah, so
1,000 songs
just like ready to go, and I'm like, I believe it.
It takes some people months.
No, yeah, that's like on the album. They like had that clip of other artists talking about him, and like Lil Dicky's like, I could spend 6 months writing a single verse, and he'll in 3 minutes make a hit song.
Yeah, dude.
It's like,
yeah, and in that same part with Lil Dicky, Lil Dicky was saying that someone had someone close with Juice WRLD was telling him that Juice WRLD could go in the studio and make a hit, and then right after just make another hit.
Yeah, that was the
producer
Benny Blanco. He was on Dave.
Yeah,
he was that producer they go to.
Wait, Benny Blanco. Why do I know the name?
He makes
a lot
producer.
of songs with Young Gravy, right?
I could be wrong.
I need to look this guy up.
He's big on like pop charts and like
Didn't he have a song go viral on TikTok?
Probably, I assume. Okay. I'm not big on my TikTok culture, even though I talk about it all the time. If you remember in Dave, it was
okay.
when Bieber was like at the house with them. Like they were at Benny Blanco's house.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah.
So I was also, when I was listening to it, I was kind of expecting a bunch of like 2-minute songs that looked like felt like they were kind of just thrown together to make an album that felt incomplete. But it seemed to me like a really high, like well-produced, full-length album.
For sure. Know? And there was like a lot more features than I think he normally does on his projects. But I wouldn't have been surprised if that's what he would have done anyways. Because, like, I don't know, in the beginning when they had that thing of him talking, it sounded like he wanted to talk about different stuff than he normally does. It sounded like he's been trying to experiment and, like, make different types of music. So I think the actual first album we would have gotten if he was still alive wouldn't have been too far off from what we just got.
Yeah. Now, it's kind of relating to what you were just talking about. Do you feel like will studios, if someone passes away, will they try and intentionally put a bunch of features? Is a lot of features ideal for like the companies to help promote it?
You know what I'm wondering? There's a couple ways to kind of look at it. One, if the songs are only half done, like you kind of have to like get a feature on there to just finish it. But see, Juice WRLD dies, I'm sure with all the labels, it's like a bidding war to like get their artists placed on the Juice WRLD album. If you're a label and you got, I don't know, a random pop singer and you're like, oh, we should get, I bet this didn't happen, but like Halsey, like we need to get her on a song to finish it and put it out. A lot of people were really upset with when XXX died. They dropped that song with like Lil Pump. Yeah. And it's like I don't think they would have collabed if not Lil Pump, Lil Peep.
Yeah.
And it's like, because they were both dead and they made that song together. I don't know. It just seemed kind of odd. But
yeah. So that's surprising to me. Like someone who doesn't, like I don't make music. I'm surprised that, is that common where after someone dies, they'll go get someone to say, hey, will you feature on this song and be like the second verse on it?
Well, okay. Yeah, it's common. And it's like a lot of people look at it as like this really like the labels are trying to just make a bunch of money. And they might be. But honestly, I've heard a lot of small artists say this, especially that like if they ever died, like why would you not want your favorite artist to come get on your album? Even though some of the they might not know who your favorite artists are, so they might get like a random like big artist that you're not a fan of. But like if I passed away right now, like it would be so awesome if like someone took all my unfinished music and got like 5 of my favorite artists to feature on it and drop it. Like I would be totally okay with that.
Yeah. And I assume the worry comes in when it's like, well, what if they finish this song that I started, but they did it in a way that I wouldn't have approved of, or like I wouldn't have felt was like.
Yeah. And that just depends on the artist. 'Cause there's some guys that are like Prince, for example, like has always stated that like he'll never let anyone sample his music. He's super like strict about like, this is my art, you can't touch it. And then there's some guys that just aren't as serious about it. And in my opinion, it's just, how serious do you really take yourself? Like it's art, but I don't know. To me, it's just like if why not?
Yeah. Well, there's that.
I don't know if that's bad.
No,
but
there's that line at the end of. So J. Cole's 2014 Forest Hill Drive, the last song, Note to Self.
I know what you're talking about on the
credits. It's like this 10-minute song basically where he's basically just like thanking everybody, and it's like the credits of the album basically. And he has a line where he's basically saying like, if you put art into the world, you should allow other people to be influenced by your art.
The thing is, unless you were the first person to invent music, you're inspired by music. Like there's no music that's 100% like creative. The most creative music is when you draw from like many different inspirations. So why would you not allow your music to inspire more music?
Yeah, and every genre comes from another genre.
Exactly.
Right? So it's like, I don't know. I feel like if you're to limit people and not let them use your art, you could be potentially like limiting a new genre of music entirely.
So much. Yeah, that's 100%. Like, especially with, I don't know, like having these features, like say you're an artist and you pass away and then they put Lil Wayne on your album. Now all Lil Wayne's fans are going to check out your song and go back and actually listen through your music. I just don't see how people see it as like such a bad thing.
Yeah. I listened to the whole Juice WRLD album and I really liked it. I wouldn't say I absolutely loved it. I think it's like well produced and they're good songs, but I didn't feel like any of the features took away from it.
Yeah.
I think they added to it.
And if anything, like some people are like, why they shouldn't release the music? Why? It's like it's for the fans. It's for the people that he inspired. And also like I'm pretty sure with at least with X and Juice, I've read that they've done a really good job like making sure the money is going towards like his family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I just don't see why people freak out and say it's like the big labels trying to just benefit off their legacy.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I agree. Now, one thing I actually wrote down that I want to talk about, at what point after someone dies do we just let them be and stop trying to, because listen, so after X died, there's been like 2 or 3 projects now that they've released.
They did. So I remember the first one they did was Skins, and then he has like a series of like collab mixtapes, I think they were.
Yeah.
And so they put that out. He wasn't like on the whole thing, but
that's what I didn't understand. It's his album, but he's only on like half of those songs.
I think it's like his kind of gang or whatever. I don't know, guys like him and Ski Mask.
Yeah. I'm gonna look it up just because I want to know the name of that project. But
at what point do you stop?
Yeah, because same with Lil Peep. Like I'm happy if they release songs that the artist finished and like the artist would have put out.
Yeah.
But there does come a point where it's like, dude, X has been dead for like 2 years now, and it's like there's just nothing left.
Well, you know what I heard? I'm dead serious. I remember reading this. It was like 6 months ago. It was around the time. It was when they were talking. Whenever one of the X albums came out, they were talking about how there's a Tupac album that is literally in the works. That like they have so much old music from stuff.
Just from like maybe someone had like a random studio session one day where they just like spit a few bars and like didn't do anything with it and they just saved it.
So Tupac's like most famous album is like 20 something songs. Like it's a really long album. It's a double album, but I'm pretty sure he knocked it out in like right after he came out of prison, like pretty quickly. So like he's known for having like a really strong work ethic and making songs fast, kind of like Juice WRLD. And so like he probably has all these songs sitting around. Like Drake had Michael Jackson on his last album.
Yeah.
What? Like
what?
Like this isn't like a new thing. Like people have been like putting out music decades after they die. Yeah.
And I get it, but it's like for example, those I don't know if you listen to the X albums after he died, but to me they just seemed incomplete.
Yeah,
entirely.
And I think the difference is I think that's kind of how X works a little bit though. Like if you listen to 17, that was the first project of his that I listened to. Some of the songs are like a minute 50.
Yeah. True, but like it's different if a song is a minute 50 and it feels like it's like a completed, but then some of them feel like they're a minute 50 and they're like
voice memos, almost like song ideas.
Yeah, it feels like it's not even a song really.
Yeah, and that's different. So that's the thing though. It's like I don't know if with Juice, because he knocks out his songs so quickly, like they could probably drop like 10 of his albums.
That's what I'm saying. Like if he really does have
if they really have 1,000
songs,
they could drop 100 of his albums.
Like dude, I don't know, to me it just seems almost wrong. I don't know if wrong's the right word. It just feels weird if an artist has been dead for like 5 years and they drop a Juice WRLD, and then on the Juice WRLD Twitter they're tweeting out, oh, Juice WRLD's legacy album is out, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, he's been dead for 5 years. Like,
I think though it would be more disrespectful for what is probably the more likely case when they don't put out the music. Because like what probably happened with Michael Jackson was it was some song he had recorded, and then they just took that vocal and like Drake's probably paid like $1 million or whatever to get that vocal, made a song around it, and then now it's like a Michael Jackson feature. What they could do with Juice is take all these incomplete songs, take the chorus, and then all of a sudden it's a Tory Lanez song featuring Juice WRLD. I think that's more disrespectful than actually putting out the songs that he made, because that's probably what would end up happening.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting thing to talk about. I mean, I don't like.
There's no right side, obviously. It's an opinion thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible to know what the artist would want.
But now that it's documented, if I ever die tragically, get some artists to put all my music out. I don't care.
Okay, there you go.
Just make sure the money goes to like my family, and they'll figure it out.
All right. That's good. I'm glad we got this documented. It's your music will.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, by the way, the album that we were talking about.
Oh, there's another X album I forgot about.
So he had 17, he had the question mark, and then after he died, they had Skins, and then they had it's called XXX Tentacion Presents Members Only Volume 4.
Yeah.
And then they had a deluxe version of question mark, and then they had
Bad Vibes Forever. Is that what it was?
Oh, no, yeah, that's a whole other album.
Yeah, and so I thought don't even. There was a few songs I liked on that album, but like, yeah, like you said, some of the songs are like either super incomplete or they have like 2 features on them.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like I really liked his question mark album a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a bad feeling. It's sad when an artist dies. I mean, obviously it's sad when they die, but it's even I get sad for their art when you know what their potential is and what they made when they were alive.
Yeah.
And then you hear their album that was released after they die, and it just is like barely even close to what they made before.
For sure. Yeah.
But I don't know. All right. Well, moving on here, guys. Let us know on Instagram, DM us, or comment on YouTube if you guys want to let us know your thoughts on the Juice WRLD album. I know a lot of people are talking about it right now. A lot of people are saying it's an album of the year already, which I think is a bit of an overstatement. That, at least in my opinion, I think. Well,
right now in this recording, it's been out for about 20 hours. So
yeah, I feel like it's hard to say that if you've listened to it 2 times. Yeah. You know. But we'll see. Maybe people just absolutely love it. But
so John, there's this new genre of music. This new genre I'm sure you've never heard of. So
I probably haven't.
I don't know what the official name is, but what I've heard, it's called Hyperpop. Have you heard of the band 100 Gecs?
Wait.
Have you?
Wait, no.
I wouldn't be surprised if you had, actually.
I haven't heard of them, and I don't think I know what you're talking about, but I might, because I once saw this video on Twitter, and it went viral, and it was a music video that people were just making fun of, basically.
Yeah.
Because it was, like,
so
weird and terrible, yet there was also a whole community of people defending it, saying, like, this is a genre, you just don't get it. Is this maybe what we're about to listen to?
So I'm going to give my understanding on what this is. Basically, like a couple weeks ago, my friend played some of this music as a joke. He's like, I don't know how people listen to this. You'd have to be like psychotic to actually enjoy this. And he played it and it was funny. And then all of a sudden we kind of kept listening to it more and more. And then we're like, this song's not that bad. And then we're like, it's kind of good. And then we started looking up some of their videos, and it's just the weirdest stuff I've ever seen. It's like pop meets punk meets a little bit of like rap is in there, and then I don't know. I gotta show you this video.
So I think I have seen. What's it called again? Hyperpop?
I think hyperpop is the term. There's another term for it too.
So yeah. Yes,
I know. Heard of this?
Well, oh, no. I've heard of the band, but I've never actually seen like.
Okay, so the video I'm gonna show you, because of like copyright reasons, I wasn't just gonna play a song, but I wanted to show you their breakdown on their lyrics for I don't remember what the song's called. Money Machine, I think.
Money Machine by 100 Gecs. So we pulled up the Genius like lyrics verified or whatever.
Yeah, you have to, and if you have the time, make sure you check out the video. Just get a vibe of what these people are like.
Yeah. All right, so I've pulled up the video here. We have terrible reception in the studio, so we'll see how much of it actually will load. But yeah, so 100 Gecs, is it a duo or just one person?
It's a duo.
Okay.
We were thinking about band names, and I wanted a gecko through some sort of error. I think maybe I entered it in wrong. Maybe it was like some kind of error on their end, but I was sent 100 geckos. And I was like, that would be a cool band name. And Dylan was like, how about just 100 Gecs? The rest is history. The rest is a fucking...
Wait, they wanted to order 100?
I have no clue, because they said they were typing in their band name, and then they were sent 100 geckos.
Yeah. Beats for the Minecraft set, just kind of...
They performed at Minecraft or something
tunes.
like that.
I had been using this Logic, like, slide dobro sound, like this country fake guitar. Thought it would be cool to start it out like that and then go to some like super crazy distorted thing. I was in LA.
I was right here.
With all our songs, we just send Logic sessions back and forth, like co-producing and co-writing all of them. So I just like sent them.
By the way, guys, this will make a lot more sense if you go listen to this song. Maybe
Yeah,
pause
we
this.
wouldn't just do this to like any random artist.
Yeah, this isn't just like any song. Trust me. Also, I'll pause this throughout, so we're not just sitting here listening to it. What do you think of that? What they just said? How,
I mean,
they're
okay.
like a duo, but they literally will produce from different states.
So all like jokes aside, what I've heard is that they're like two really, really talented musicians, and like they know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, the term I heard was they were like band nerds. That's just what my friend described them as. So they're super like musically talented, and they kind of just made a song as a joke one time and put it out, and it like blew up, something along those lines. And that's how they invented this genre.
Okay. Well, here, we'll keep listening.
The Logic session, and she fucking went crazy on it.
I was like, this needs very little. Hey, you little piss baby. You think you're so fucking cool? Huh? You think you're so fucking tough? I thought that piss baby was like a phrase that people said online. Like, I don't know, like shitlord or something.
Yep.
Like,
Say that one all the time. Just kidding.
Innocuous insult, I guess, which I guess was not the case. Sort of just like talking about this guy who I'm pissed at, because I was pissed at the time, and I was pissed at several people. So
Okay.
I had to think of like a fake person to kind of just lay into. Talk a lot of big game for someone with such a small truck. Oh, look at those arms. Your arms look so fucking cute. They look like little cigarettes. I bet I could smoke you. I could roast you. This person thinks...
Okay, that's enough. But does this style of music not remind you of something our boy Gabe would make?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So Matt's friend Gabe is very experimental.
Yeah, his artist name is Green Apple. If you want to check him out, if you're into like alternative music.
But I don't think he's not that weird.
No, not at all. But
like those lines, like what was the first one? Like,
hey, you little piss
hey,
baby.
you little piss baby, you think you're so fucking cool. But like, if you listen to the song, from what I remember, it sounds like they're just like the lines are just them saying a sentence, basically.
Yeah. Well, so the style of the genre, it's like pop meets punk, but then they pitch the vocals up like a squirrel, and it just creates this meme sound. It's really like TikTok-y, which makes sense why it's been blowing up in the last like year or so.
Yeah. Like it literally seems like it's a meme song made by like a YouTuber as a joke, but
and
it's
it
not.
sounds bad, but it's like well done because they know what they're doing, and they have a lot of fans. I looked up how they like perform live with like their voice and like pitch it up and stuff, but like their fans are like in the crowd, like they know the lyrics, and they don't perform like a band. They perform like rappers. Like they just have a track playing and they're just on stage with mics, and the fans are just going crazy.
Do they alter their voices when they're on stage?
Yeah, which I'm wondering if that's hard to do or not.
Yeah. What
But
the heck?
anyways.
Something that you just said that I thought was interesting is that it sounds bad, but it's made well. And it intentionally sounds bad. And I think it's similar to, so like I'm a video editor, and I think I can kind of relate it. Like you can see videos that are really poorly edited and they just are not appealing to look at. They just suck. But then there's videos like Much Dank, Much Dank? It's like there's videos or just some meme YouTube channels make these like horribly edited things, but it's like actually very skillful if you know what to look for. And it's like, wow, that's actually really hard to do. And it's like, makes it entertaining.
Well, yeah. And it's like, it's so, with the band, it's so like weird and out there that I'm wondering if it's like, your brain just isn't trained to like it. Yeah. But I think the more and more you listen to it, if you're into like, I don't know, it's kind of emo. I don't know how to describe it, but like, I don't know what their fan base is like, but
dude,
there's a reason they're like getting big.
Those concerts have got to be some of the weirdest places on earth.
But the genre is like blowing up. You know who Charlie XCX is?
No.
That's the girl. She was on Fancy with Iggy Azalea. She's just like a big singer, but like she is like now a part of the genre or something like that. And like the band's collabed with like Rico Nasty and some bigger artists, but they dropped an album last night with like remixes to their previous album. And I'll say this, you guys should just check it out with no expectations, and I bet one of every 100 people that check it out might actually like it.
Okay. Wait, sorry. Who's this album by? And what's it called?
100 Gecs.
Oh, so it's their
band put out. They like re-released their album, but with like remixes to every song.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, very interesting stuff.
Yeah, man. It might be one of those things where it's just like this is a new genre. So maybe right now we just don't get it.
I was kind of looking at it like, I wonder if it's gonna be a new trend, and like, are people gonna start trying to adapt to it? Like, is it gonna be the new hot thing in like a year from now? So I'm trying to like learn more about like recognizing that kind of stuff when it comes into the music industry, and so I'm really curious to see if hyperpop is the next big thing.
Maybe you gotta do like on your next album you drop, you gotta have like 10 normal songs, and then you'll have the little extra track, and it's gonna be a hyperpop.
So me and Brendan the other day were in the studio. We were gonna record a song he had written, but we just kind of weren't feeling it, and we're like, let's do this another time. Like, maybe let's just like freestyle, because that's fun. So I'll just like set up a beat for him and I'll freestyle. But when we were looking up beats, we were on FaceTime with his buddy, and he was like, you should look up 100 Gecs type beat. And we like found some, and then we're like, you know what? Let's make a song like this.
Okay.
And I got to show you to you sometime, because I don't think it's ever going to come out, but it's low-key really good.
Maybe after you die, that'll come out.
Yeah. Featuring 100 Gecs.
Yeah, you'll have a hyperpop album featuring 100 Gecs.
I'd be down for it.
That's so funny, because I forgot that existed until now, and I'm so glad that I now know what they're called. All right, so moving on here, there's a couple more little things that have happened in the industry that we want to talk about before we hop into the segments. First of all, Bryson Tiller graduated high school, so congratulations. I'm
confused.
Yeah,
I didn't keep up with this story.
He just graduated high school.
Did he like complete his degree or something?
Well, his diploma.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess when he blew up for music, or maybe before he blew up, he dropped out of high school.
Really?
And now he just graduated, and it's like
the way that was phrased, I was so confused.
You're like, wait a second, Bryson Tiller's like 28.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know how old he is, but he's
dope,
definitely in like his 20s or 30s. But yeah, I think it was cool, and he posted a photo of him like in his cap and gown with like his diploma or whatever, and then also he posted a picture of like so and so high school, and then in the little pamphlet it lists every student's name. So there's like all the high school students, and then there's just Bryson Tiller.
No, that's so funny, dude. Well, Congrats. I mean, that's cool that he like wanted to do that and find time to like
think about it. He has no financial reason to need to graduate high school, but he actually said in his post, he said, I graduated high school because I've realized that in order to accomplish the bigger things I want to do in life, like outside of music, I need to get this done, or something along those lines. And so he made it sound like he has bigger things planned other than just music.
And I bet it's like a responsibility thing as like an artist. He probably was just like, I don't know, like it'll be inspiring for kids, because a lot of kids are like, well, my favorite rapper dropped out of high school, like I can do it too.
Yeah. And I think that you're right. It is cool when I don't know, because in the hip hop culture, I feel like it's kind of a thing where like a lot of the artists don't have like a long education career. Mm-hmm. But when you hear that like J. Cole graduated, who was it? Oh, dude, who was it who went to like... Didn't 2 Chainz get like a 4.0 at Harvard?
No, I don't think it was Harvard, but he played D1 basketball.
No, but there's some artist that was like a...
I know Childish Gambino went to NYU.
Okay.
But I don't know any rappers that were like Ivy League.
Where did 2 Chainz go?
I don't know, but I know he played basketball. I don't think so. I don't want to... 2 Chainz is a smart guy.
Wait, maybe it's not... Who did Panda?
Designer? No way Designer went to Harvard.
Wait. I need to look this up. Because regardless of what college you go to, a 4.0 is still insane.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So 2 Chainz graduated Alabama State with a 4.0.
He was an athlete too, so
wow,
that's very impressive.
That's crazy. He was making music, playing basketball, and had a 4.0. Guys, your dreams are possible. You can do it.
You can blow up.
All right. So next up, Black dropped an EP called the Hot what is it called? 6-piece wings?
6-piece something.
6-piece hot EP.
Yeah.
And I've been a fan of Black for a while. We have a poster right behind me. I don't know. He's just one of those guys that's always minding his business, doing his thing, putting out quality music.
Yeah, he's like, I've never really gotten super deep into him, but like everything I've heard I've liked, and he features on a lot of artists like albums that I like him and Jid always work together.
Is it Jid, not J-I-D?
I think it's J-I-D. I think Jid is kind of like what people refer to him as, but I just say it out of habit. But I don't know, just everything I've heard from Black I've been a fan of. I checked out the EP. I liked it. It hasn't been on like my like heavy rotation lately, but there's just been so much new music out. I can't really keep up.
I know, dude. There's been a crazy amount of albums just left and right, and I assume part of that's probably because of quarantine.
Yeah.
And it's like, is that just a trend for summertime is when people release
same with like
stuff?
movies. It's like the big releases are usually like in the summer, but
yeah. So I know in the movie scene or industry, if you want to get nominated for an Oscar, you most likely are going to release your movie. Like the Oscar season is like December.
Okay.
So all the movies, all like the artsy movies that are going to get nominated for Oscars release at the end of year so that they can kind of have
I was
hype.
thinking more like, I think like the big blockbuster, like Marvel and like, I don't know, like action movies. I feel like a lot of those come out in the summer.
Yeah, no, you're right. They do for sure. And I'm not saying they have to be released at the end of the year, but it's just more common. Is that the same with like the Grammys and like, does music get released right before the Grammys happen that are usually
I haven't seen this discussed, but I've been thinking about this for a while. So I feel like if you drop an album right after the Grammys, so it's like 11 months until the next one, and so like that's the Grammys you're qualifying for, people are going to forget about it.
Exactly.
But if you're going to get a Grammy, it should be an album that lasts more than 11 months in like people's like mind.
Oh, that's something I never thought about.
But that's not fair, because if you were someone that has a popular album for 1, 2, 3 months and you drop it like 4 or 5 months before the Grammys, you're way more likely to win over like a good like J. Cole album. J. Cole has like never won a Grammy for an album, or in like he the only Grammy his first Grammy he won was the song with 21 Savage, which is interesting to really think about when you think about like J. Cole's career.
Yeah.
But
all right, so moving on here, we're going to hop into the segments now. But before we do, I just want to remind you guys that we have a second podcast that is hosted by me and then my friend Kyle, and Matt has been on it 3 times now.
Yeah, 3 times.
And it's called Peak to Middle School. It's a comedy show. It's a lot more casual than this, not necessarily focused on music or anything, but it's in the same studio. It's really fun, really cool. There is 155 episodes of it. So if you guys want to go check it out, it's linked in the YouTube version, or you can just search Peak to Middle School. All right. Also, leave a review on the Apple Podcast app for this show. It helps us out a lot. We have like 15 to 20 reviews right now, and if we could get to like 50,
that'd be insane.
That would be super
awesome.
Cool. So I think that might be the goal for like the end of the year. So if you guys could just go leave a review, or tell your friends or anyone who has an iPhone to leave a review, that would help us out a lot. But moving on, Matt, what is your underground drop of the week?
My underground drop this week is Justin Stone dropped a new single. It's called Holy. I've been listening to Justin Stone for a while. I know you have too.
Yeah.
And I just like, the thing I love about him as an artist is that he's like always dropping new music. It seems like every time I like check up on him, if I see him like post on Instagram, he's got like a few new songs I can go back and listen to. And it's just been really interesting to see him like grow over the years. And the song Holy, I just thought was super dope.
His work ethic definitely shows. He's kind of in the community of these artists that remind me of Futuristic, in the sense that they're independent, but they're just super consistent and, I don't know, just really authentic. And I think that Justin Stone is a guy who's cultivated a really loyal fan base for sure. Yeah, so I don't know. I definitely recommend you guys go check it out. We've been listening to him since way before he was like even known.
Yeah.
And it's just been cool to follow his progression. So be sure to check it out. All right, my underground drop of the week is from Nothing Nowhere, and it's an album called One Takes Volume 1. And what's really cool is in 2018, Nothing Nowhere is just this one guy. He dropped an album called Ruiner, which I think really blew him up. That's how I found him. And now this whole album is 13 songs, and all of them are one takes.
Dang.
So from my understanding, it's literally like go in the studio and just do the whole thing raw. And like a lot of the, I don't know if all of them are remixes or just, I think all of these are like one take remixes of his older songs.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's just super cool because the vibe is inevitably going to be different.
Yeah.
I don't know. As a producer, because you produce songs for your friends, you make your own music. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Because I've never really seen that other than when you listen to a freestyle in like an interview. That's obviously a one take. But
yeah.
I haven't ever seen this trend of people releasing songs as one takes.
Well, I know with like, if you've heard like John Bellion's like acoustic versions, those are all one takes because there's videos and you can kind of tell that it's not just him singing like over the song. Like it's him actually singing it with people playing. And those are always super interesting. And they feel more like real, I guess, because it's just them actually doing it. It's not them punching in all the time. But I think it's super interesting to like switch up the vibe a little bit. I haven't heard this, so I don't really know what to expect or like what even genre it is. But yeah, I think it's super cool.
Yeah, honestly, I'm going to look this up because I'm really bad with genres. And I've told Matt, one of my goals is to like actually be able to listen to something and differentiate between alternative rock versus indie versus whatever, like folk. And I don't know any of them. So I'm going to look up Nothing Nowhere and try and tell you what genre. It says singer, songwriter, rapper, and producer. But it's not rap. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like everybody gets labeled as a rapper, but from what I've heard from him, I would not call him a rapper, really. So I don't know, but yeah, I definitely would recommend checking it out. I don't know. I kind of like when there's rawness and almost like mistakes in songs where you can tell that maybe like they hit the wrong note or something, but they're just going to roll with it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It depends, obviously, because, like, I don't want it to just be, like, some trash song. But, like, when they're able to, like, do it in the right way, it's dope. Because if you go to a live show, they're not just going to hit everything perfectly and be perfectly on time. Like, there's a certain, like, realness to it. And so I think that's kind of what it is it almost makes you feel like you're there.
Oh, yeah, so it's almost like a concert version of the album.
Yeah, that's what I think, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess right after I said that, I started thinking, I don't know if you remember, but when Kanye's Jesus is King came out, so the day it came out, one of the songs, I forget which song it was, but there was a part in it where he like sniffled.
Yeah.
And you can hear it like his mucus like in his nose, and it was the grossest sound. And somehow that got put in the final version, which first of all just absolutely baffles me that someone of that level could have a mistake like that in a final version of a song.
To be fair, he did say that a lot of the album was recorded on his iPhone.
Oh yeah, sure.
So like it makes more sense when you think about the level of detail. Probably wasn't as much as any other previous Kanye album, but
like
it's still
you got so many people working with you, and I assume so many people to listen over it and make sure it sounds good.
Was pretty, at least with a lot of his projects, they're pretty rushed. Like the Ye album, he literally took the photo on the way to the release party. I don't know how that works for distribution and stuff like that, but like somehow it worked because it's Kanye.
Yeah, man. But what's funny is like it was all over Twitter and stuff, and within a few hours they fixed it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I didn't even know that once an album was released. I mean, it makes sense that someone of that level can go change it.
He kind of like invented that. Well, I'm sure I'm wrong. I'm sure there's other people that have done it before him. But with the Life of Pablo album, he like released it, went back and like changed some things in the tracks and like changed a few verses and like multiple times throughout like the first few weeks of the album.
Wow. And that's so, like legal and everything. Like I don't know why it would be illegal.
The things that would not make it like illegal is like a lot of the first listens like weren't getting counted toward like streaming stuff and weren't getting like when they would listen to it and then they delete it and put it out again, it wasn't getting counted towards like the same album, so it didn't do as well like chart wise.
Oh, okay.
But
he doesn't seem like the guy to care about that anyways.
Yeah, it was when like Tidal came out and like that's Jay-Z's, and so like he exclusively put it on Tidal, and I think he did that so he could like put it up, change stuff, put it up. And I don't know why. That's just such a Kanye thing to do. But I think he like wanted to do it that way. It wasn't like, oh crap, we need to fix this. It was like, I want it to be like an album you can like live through the process of.
Yeah. I almost feel like Kanye might do those things on purpose. Like leave little mistakes just to see how people react.
We're talking about it like 4 years later.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, but guys, I would definitely recommend checking out Nothing Nowhere. I mean, I haven't even had a chance to listen through the whole One Take album because it literally came out at midnight, but I'm a big fan of his music, and I just think it's a cool way to mix it up.
Yeah,
so
that's dope.
With that being said, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. Next episode, if things go according to plan, we're going to have our second guest, and his name is Blue Lane.
Yes, sir.
And that's super exciting. He's from our hometown. Matt and I have listened to his music for a while, so he's hopefully
super dope.
Yeah, super dope. So check him out next week. But Matt, where can they follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, all at the Matt Mogg. I got a new but yeah, make sure to go follow me.
Yeah. So now you're all like, it's easier for people to remember. They can find you everywhere.
Everything's the same finally.
Yeah. You guys can follow me at Hey Narwhal on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And if TikTok gets shut down, which it might possibly, have you heard about all that?
Yes. Have you heard are you going to talk about, there's a new app people are using?
Oh, what's the new one?
I don't know if this is the most popular one, but there's one called Byte, like
Yeah.
BYTE. I made an account today.
Yeah, so Byte is made from the founders of Vine. It came out like a year ago. It's Vine 2.0 is what it is. So they're only 6-second videos, I think, which is a little weird, or maybe 10 seconds. But I actually made an account when it first came out, so I got at Narwhal on Byte. So if Byte ever goes big, I'm going to be the Narwhal, the
That's
OG.
Dope. Narwhal.
Yeah, so anyways, with all that being said, guys, please leave a review on the show. Check out our other show called Peak to Middle School. And with all that being said, we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
See ya.